All right, so in this one, we're going to be critiquing someone who is significantly better at me at golf, named Billy Horschel. You may or may not have heard of him, but luckily I'm a science nerd, so maybe I'll be able to help on the exercise science side of things, while he shoots better scores than I could even dream of. Here we go.
It being an off week, we're mostly focused on strength. We don't mind if he's sore.
That's a good start. They're already cognizant of fatigue, which is crucial because we know that fatigue is directly but inversely related with preparedness or your ability to perform in any given instance. So the more tired you are, the more you're going to suck at your sport, essentially. So the fact they're starting off the video by thinking about that, that's a good sign.
He'll work out during tournament weeks, but they'll be a little adjusted just so he's not super sore and he feels like he can't swing it the way he wants to.
Yeah, you have a couple options as an in-season golfer, especially if you're playing mostly year-round. You can train at like maintenance volume or minimum effective volume to not get much gains, but for sure not get worse, in hopes that you don't suck for that tournament that weekend, Thursday through Sunday. Or you could periodically pick tournaments that you're okay sucking for, essentially, and go after it a little bit harder in those sections of your training career. So, like, let's say you have a major coming up, train at maintenance, but right after the major, you don't have anything big for 6 weeks. Get after it a little harder. So, what if you miss the cut a couple times and suck a little bit more than normal? That's your time to get bigger, stronger, faster. So, those are some of your options.
A lot of stuff we do is we do a lot of corrective stuff, but it's all, we're trying to get a little more powerful, get a little more strength, get a little more, create more distance as I get older.
So he's definitely got a good head on his shoulder. Create some more distance, bigger, stronger, more powerful. Good. I will say that golfers, especially, tend to fall into traps of doing too much specific or ooh, shiny, look at this exercise, and staying away from the nitty-gritty basic stuff, the stuff that actually gets you bigger, stronger, and faster. So we'll kind of see what he has to say when he actually gets into his workout. And I'm assuming he's just warming up with a lot of the stuff, but we'll see.
Good. I'm glad he's checking your form on that side for me.
Anti-rotation stuff is fine. Um, at best, it might help with a little bit of stability, keeping you maybe a little bit safer, but probably not, because if you think about what's actually happening in the sport of golf, where he's actually putting in a lot of effort, it's dynamic rotational movements. So anti-rotation stuff can, at a baseline level, help build up stability and transfer of force into the golf club, but this should not make up the bulk of your training. It might be an okay place to start. We'll kind of see where they're going from there. If your golf training looks like a lot of this stuff and not a lot of squats, deadlifts, push press, plyometrics, rotational stuff, you might have drank too much of the Kool-Aid.
We're gonna superset lat pull downs with this in between the legs and the rope coming out.
Antagonist, agonist supersets are a great way to save time. So basically, what that means is you're using one muscle group, and then you're training one muscle group, and you have another muscle group that's not being used in that exercise. And then instead of resting, you go straight to that unused muscle group. So it's while one's resting, the other one's going, essentially.
We try to keep it as consistent as possible, just so his body feels consistent throughout the year. Yeah, I don't wanna take the chance. We always have a focus on mobility, but most of his warm-ups are based on.
There's very few reasons why that ball should be there, except it looks cool.
Corrective work we need him to do to be ready to work out or be ready to go play. So we get a lot of that done at the beginning and then just focus on strength.
And over my 14 years on tour,
There is no reason to squat in this exercise. It just takes away the emphasis on your pulling musculature, your upper back, your arms, etc. for a isometric hold of the quads, which is not going to get you bigger, stronger, faster. It's may even get you slower. Training you to do kind of the opposite stuff. So this is making the exercise more difficult because it looks fun. Sit him down, go close to failure in your pull downs, get, in this instance, bigger and stronger, actually train the target muscle a little bit better, and you're going to get a lot more out of it. The squat makes it needlessly hard on him.
tour has changed. I mean, my driving distance has gone up a little bit over my 14 years, and there's other things I can do to create more.
This might be a little too light, and they're not showing the ends of his set, so I don't know how close to failure he's going, but something that is really cool, if you look at how he's performing these movements, he's going very, very explosively. So like really with a lot of intent to move. That's going to help him develop power. That's one of the key tenets of what you need to do to develop power.
Create more distance, but I don't want to change too much of the foundation of what makes me, what's made me successful on the PGA Tour. So if I can do everything in here, and this can translate to, getting a little more powerful, having a little more extra distance on the golf course, that's a massive benefit.
This exercise is freaking sweet. When you are unstable, your brain directly downregulates force output. So the fact that he has his leg lifted to get an isometric spinal erector, core musculature contraction, which doesn't get you hardly any benefit at all, especially if you're a world-class athlete. Again, you're just making this exercise needlessly hard and taking away from what should be the limiting factor, which is his back. Another thing you can do here is actually the form is good, and again, props to Billy for doing a lot of intent to move here, like really aggressive, powerful stuff. But you could actually stretch down even a little bit farther. So like at the bottom, really reach for it. Get a lot of the upper back musculature fully stretched out, which is going to be one of the things that helps you get bigger and maybe a little bit stronger too. Stretch mediate hypertrophy is very likely a thing. Good intent to move.
Everyone always comes in and goes, "What's Billy use those gator weights for?" And I'm like, "Oh, bench press, curls, whatever."
You got to do curls.
You guys got to get in here more, I had I won't say an ex-NFL player in here, and I mean, the guy, we didn't have enough weight for him, but I had him do bird dog rows, and he almost fell off the bench, with like 50 pounds. So it's a tough.
So the skill of the movement was hard, and by definition, you didn't take us back to muscular failure or close to it, which is what you need. Weird flex.
Move, and it requires a lot of stability and tiny muscles that need to stabilize his hip and core.
Tiny muscles are the ones that are most structured.
You know what's actually going to teach you how to stabilize relative to your sport? Outside of becoming elite at your sport, squats, deadlifts, heavy compound movements, getting really, really, really strong. I mean, he carries the ball like over 300 yards. Like he's not having a problem stabilizing at the top part of his movement. When he's swinging the club that faster, he would snap in half, right?
That's frustrating.
Stability is oftentimes like a magical unicorn that people like to follow instead of doing the things that'll actually make you bigger, stronger, faster, more stable, which suck a lot more.
As a golfer, obviously hip stability, there's a lot of tiny muscles around your hips and your core that won't necessarily like show up on the beach if you're working out just to look good, but it's going to show up in sport. And it's tough muscles to work out because they're very fatiguing, and it's not like you're moving heavy weight or anything like that, so it can be frustrating to work. That's why a lot of people like to skip them. But when you skip those muscles, that's when it can lead to injury down the road and your body not working as consistently as you want, especially if you're a high-performing athlete.
I can train those muscles better than what they've pictured here so far with one exercise. Deep, large step, weighted, walking lunges. We're done here.
This is gonna be a tough one on these.
If we don't get 8, that's all right.
I'll get it. Just gotta refocus.
There is a really interesting dynamic here. I don't want to seem I am critiquing this workout, and this is obviously no flame to Billy or anything. There is a dynamic with golfers think to some degree correctly that like their game and their swing is like it's like a paper mache structure, and that you can meaningfully do stuff in here that'll just destroy you. And the fatigue from training will for sure make you worse at expressing skill. So you have to pay attention to that and choose when you push and choose when you don't. Um, so as a strength coach, it matters what you can get the golfer who may or may not view his swing as mystical, to some degree spiritual, what you can get them to buy into and do to where they won't think you'll break them. And every athlete's going to be different. So you do have to meet them where they are. So at some degree, this could be maybe all Billy wants to buy into, or maybe the trainer is just kind of missing the mark. I mean, he's not leading Billy down a useless Liver King trail, right? Like this stuff is good. It's just there's a lot of random bits and pieces that we can make a lot better. Good range of motion. Don't cut it short, Billy.
Training does so much for me. Keeps me healthy, gets me stronger, allows me to continue to play and compete at the highest level that I can on a daily basis. Doesn't mean I'm always going to play well, but I have that sense of accomplishment, a sense of, hey, I'm doing something that's going to help me get better and just continue with it.
You gotta have the curls. No flame. Even if you can't make the argument that this directly helps golf performance, just think about this. You're on the first tee, PGA Tour event. You're paired up. You're paired up with someone, not very big arms. Not really. Doesn't have that it factor. You're not scared of that guy. You're walking up to the first tee, confident. You pipe one down the fairway. His wife leaves him for you. But you're ethical. You wouldn't do anything about that. Player 2 walks up to the tee. You're player 3 in this group. Guns. Because he's been sticking to this stuff. Buys and tries. I think I just drop out right there. Like, he's good at golf and he's jacked. I can see this guy wins. Choose wisely. The form could be better on those. There's a lot of elbow movement. And if you want to take this a step further, you could lock the elbows in place, but kind of lean forward and even use a bar even, and just kind of go straight forward, almost like a modified skull pressure. Or then you could do it overhead. Overhead's a really good option because the tricep crosses 2 joints. You need something? I was just recording, so
Trying to win a tournament, it's just like, hey, I'm stronger than what I think I am at this moment in time, and can I push through the negative thoughts? Can I push through the bad breaks? Can I push through, not swinging the way I want? Can can I somehow find a way to get this done? And it's no different than a gym. Can I somehow find
One of the best ways you can get mobility is through full range of motion resistance training and gradually increasing that range of motion over time. But if you're someone that needs more mobility or kind of keeps your mental in a good place, like stretching daily, that's gonna add on to that. So it's definitely a additive piece that you can do. And golf is a sport that tends to benefit from mobility. So no hate here. And putting at the end of workouts totally fine. Um, some people mysticize the cool down, which you don't need to do. Like your cool down could literally be taking that 2 minute walk to the bathroom and then your car. That's enough of a cool down for a healthy population. But if this is when you want to put your stretching, that's great.
a way to push through this last set, this last rep? Can I somehow find a way to push through an entire workout because I don't feel like coming in at 6 a.m. But you get done, you feel so much better about yourself. You feel so much better about.
I want to know who the camera person on this is. They just like they are focused on his glutes. Hopefully it's his wife.
What you've done. You ready, buddy?
No.
No?
Great work, Axel.
go.
See you guys.
Thanks, Alex. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, man.